Hello, everyone. Before we dive into today's episode, I wanted to remind you that my book, Drummers on Drumming, is available now on Amazon as both a paperback and an ebook. Based on the Big Fat Five segment of this podcast, where I sit down with my favorite drummers to discuss the 5 records and stories that shaped their approach to the instrument, this book is packed with insights from the drummers who redefined how we think about the modern drum set. You can grab your copy now by checking the link in this episode's show notes or simply searching Drummers on Drumming on Amazon. So thank you for all the support, and now let's get into the show. All right, so I told Zach from Working Drummer Podcast that I would do this all in one take, so here we go. Hello. Welcome back to Big Fat 5, a podcast financially supported by Big Fat Snare Drum. Today's guest is Dan Mayo, an Israeli drummer who has one of the most distinct sounds of any player today, partly thanks to his A&F drum set, but mostly due to his personality behind the kit and background in a wide range of musical genres, which you'll hear about today. His main project is the power trio TATRAN, but Dan is also a prolific solo artist, in addition to working with many other legends such as Ester, Rada, and Mike Shinoda of Linkin Park. We chatted for quite a while, and so I split our conversation into 2 parts. Part 1, which you're about to hear, starts off with me playing a bunch of songs from Dan's career, and he discusses each, dissects each one. God, this is where I would start over, Zach, but powering through. He answers some listener questions, and then we dive into a more general list of the top 5 influences that shaped him into the drummer he is today. Part 2 is 5 specific records that shaped his tuning style and why. So not only is Dan a very generous human being with his time, but he's funny and humble, and I really hope that these episodes turn you into a Dan fan, as I am not a fan of Zach for making me do this all in one take. So enjoy part 1. Well, I just wanted to start off by playing a few tracks from you, and then you don't know what these tracks are. And for everyone that is listening, you can listen to all the tracks that we either discuss or I play on the show on a Spotify playlist. Just search for Big Fat 5 Podcast Dan Mayo, and you'll find all the songs. But I'm just going to play one. You don't know what it is, and just maybe tell me where it brings you. Yeah, man.
Wow, what a gentle fade out. Nice.
I know. I'm getting good at this thing.
Yeah.
That's the song Elephant from the album 4C from your band TATRAN.
Yes.
Such
Trio.
a sick beat, dude.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah. TATRAN is like my baby. We've been together for 10 years now, maybe 9. I'm not sure. But we write a lot of songs, and a lot of the DNA of all 3 of us comes through these songs or in the band, basically. Specifically, Elephant is like a crazy song. One of my favorites, that's for sure. Even on shows, it goes like really almost P-funk kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like a psychedelic groove thing. Yeah, a lot of momentum. And yeah, I mean, we just had a show a few days ago. We talked about it before the interview a little bit.
Yeah.
It was great, like first show since COVID, so it was amazing. And we still write a lot of music. Actually, we just had like a writing session today. So
even after you got no sleep, man, dude, you are a workhorse.
Yeah. I mean, it was crazy. I mean, I really haven't slept at all. So
I know you have solo records. How collaborative are you outside of the drums with that band?
What do you mean? Like rephrase the question.
How involved in the not drums part of that
okay.
music? Yeah, that was such a
Uh,
poorly worded question. The second time for me.
But this one I got. So yeah. Okay. I mean, we all write this like together, like really together. Of course, I'm not like, hey man, dude, like Sus 9 in this, verse. I'm not like this, but we do write together. I mean, we hang out, we just play songs. Sometimes I feel like we need another melody. We talk about it. It's like really all of us together. At first, I mean, when we just started. Phil, that's our bass player. He wrote most of the songs.
Okay.
Basically, he called me and Tamuz, the guitar player, and said, "Hey guys, let's connect. I feel like we're gonna have like a crazy trio. We've got to meet up." And then I bailed like 2 times. I don't know why. And then the third time that I did show up, it was amazing. Instant like a connection. And then we start like working on his songs at first with our like arrangements, and now it's like we just write together, all of us.
Why do you feel like you bailed the first 2 times?
I'm problematic in like for me to be in a band is like very intense.
Mm-hmm.
And once I'm in the band, I'm in the band for life. So that's why like I bailed, because I'm like, okay, it was heavy for me. It wasn't just to come and play. For me, it was more than that. So
That's great. It wasn't out of laziness. It was about like, oh, I'm going to be obsessed with this. So it was quite the opposite.
yeah, I knew it's gonna be like a lot of energy. So so yeah, that's the main reason.
That theme is going to tie into something else I want to talk about later. But
Okay, perfect.
all right, let's go to the next one, which I'll just play it.
Yeah, sure.
Now I got to fade it back in though. Damn it. All right.
Oh,
Jeez.
you've got the magic hands. You can
set
do
yourself up. Okay.
it. Yeah.
I have to ask though, before you even start talking, what is
Yeah.
is that your throne going back and forth at the beginning? The
Oh
making
no,
that
no,
eighth note subdivision?
that's I think the radio. I
Okay.
mean, okay, this session was like a crazy weird session. A lot of weird things with the session. I'm gonna start with the main weird thing, and it's a person. His name is Noam Levenberg,
Yeah.
and he's crazy. He's a sound engineer, but for me, he's a lot more than just a sound engineer. I met him like, actually he recorded the first album of TATRAN.
Okay.
That's how we met, and then he started to get like really barbaric with the years, over the years. So, and when I say barbaric, I really mean it, just like a crazy barbaric person.
Yeah.
Even like today.
He's standing right behind you now.
Oh shit! I mean, he can. I mean, he's possible. It's very possible for him to stand behind me right now. I mean, I'm scared a little bit right now, to be honest. But this session was actually, we just met in a garage for 2 hours, maybe 3. I think even 2 hours, and like half an hour of this session he ate an hamburger. So that's like that's what happened.
Yeah.
And he brought like a lot of effects and weird shit, and when in this track he just saw a radio, like an old radio in the garage. This garage is actually now a studio called Hanagaria. It's a crazy studio up north in Israel. but the studio's upstairs, not at the workshop.
Okay.
So we played at the workshop. So and then he took this radio and started to just mess around with the radio. It was crazy. And then I played with the radio. He took like a mic and put it on the radio. It was like very weird.
Okay.
I think I have a video of that, but I haven't released it. I'm not sure, but yeah, it was crazy session.
Yeah, that session is from the album's Woodhouse.
Yeah,
and that
Woodhouse.
song's Playing with the Devil. And you did a bunch of releases on Instagram of the videos of the record this last year. So if people want to check it out, go to your YouTube. You can see the woodshed you're talking about.
Yeah, actually, I haven't planned on like releasing it as an album.
Okay.
I just had I just wanted to do like just a session with videos, like few videos or whatever.
Yeah.
But it was so fun to do and to make, and we had so many tracks from this day. So, and I saw the comments like, please send do an album. So I decided, yeah, why not? Just let's release all these tracks as an album. And yeah, it was crazy. I was wearing my in-ears the entire time, so I heard all the stuff that he does while I'm playing, and it was crazy. I mean, he's a crazy guy.
Yeah, it's a really cool record, man. There's a lot of you have a lot of trinkets. So we actually had, I didn't use it as one of the Instagram questions, but we had someone ask, because I basically thought it was too much of a loaded question, but they were like, can you have Dan talk about all the little circular metal, like the bings and booms he's using? And I was like, well, maybe just DM him, because that's a little bit, but you do use a lot of cool, I mean, that's just part of your style in general, but in that session, you can visually see a lot of the cool sound toys you're using.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, definitely. I mean, and right now, I think I started using those things regularly back then, like in Woodhouse session. And now I can't go without it. I mean, for me, I just, because it's melodies for me, you know, when you have like it's not even have to be like an instrument. Even if you take like just a metal thing that rings, you get a melody, and that's awesome. That's how I can play drums and enjoy it without searching the melody, you know, all over.
Sure.
Yeah, so it's super fun.
I love it. I love it.
Thanks, man.
And yeah, I guess just for some reason I was hoping you'd say it was your chair, because there's been so many sessions that I've kind of ruined, because I definitely move a lot when I'm not playing. That's kind of how my meter keeps going. And so I'm like, someone else that you can hear their chair. But alas, nope, I'm still just alone on this hill.
I mean, it's a great thing. I mean, with the chair, I'm gonna think about it to play with my squeaky chair. That's awesome.
All right, so the next one is going to be a YouTube video, and I'll just set you up for this one. So this is actually a live video of you doing a solo with Mike Shinoda, and it's basically I started it right as people started to clap with you, but then you started to do kind of a very intricate time shift, like a metric modulation thing. And so everyone's like, oh, we're going to stop clapping now, because he's obviously doing something really amazing. But yeah, so this is about where they start to realize they can't clap along.
Oh, man. Wow.
Do you have a double pedal for this live show?
No.
God dang it. Yeah, that right there.
Oh, yeah, the triplets. Thanks, man.
Yeah. Damn, no double pedal. That's amazing, dude.
No, I never used double pedal. I'm very bad at double pedal. I tried it like a few times, and I'm like the worst ever. So I'm just like, I'm not gonna even. No, I mean it's hard. It's hard. I mean I really appreciate people that can actually play a good double pedal.
Me too.
It's an art form. So yeah.
I mean, so the reason why I brought that up, just because there's some really cool licks, people can just dissect that little solo, but you are very much an improvisational leaning player. And so when you play with Mike, do you enjoy the restraint that you're forced to have when playing with that? Is that a whole nother element that you kind of like to bring in?
Yeah, I mean, actually, that's a thing I learned with TATRAN, to be honest.
Mm.
Because before TATRAN, I was very free spirit. I just played whatever I feel.
Mm-hmm.
Never like a structure thing. I never had like a awareness to bass player and bass drum. For me, it was just like, yeah, let's play. I feel like it's groovy and let's groove something.
Mm.
But then Ophir from Tatran, he's like he's very good with structures. So he's like, let's try to make like parts in the songs, not just free jazz kind of thing. Because I was like, I came from jazz at that time. I was like playing a lot of free jazz and stuff. And then I learned to appreciate and to notice how to play in a band, how to play structures, how to play length of notes. Like if it's quarter, let's play quarter note. Like let's play the crash and stop it after like a quarter.
Sure.
So because that's the note.
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed like I learned how to be very precise with my parts. And then when I played with Mike, I felt like how it comes to like how I can use all these tools that I learned with the TATRAN basically. And Mike was he's very interesting, an amazing producer, I've got to say. Working with him was not only a pleasure, like a huge surprise, because he knows what he wants, but with that he also wants me to be myself. And when he hear me like play something fresh or that feels comfortable to me and it fits with the song, he's like, wait a second, forget what I said, do that. And also he was like, just after I think 3 shows, he's like, yeah, Dan, you should have a solo. In one of the songs, and then it was like almost every night I had a solo, so it was super fun. And then I had like it was a perfect balance for me, because I had like the structure songs, and then I had a solo, and also Mike on the stage. Mike is like a mistakes guy. He's like whatever happens, let's just enjoy it. It's not like you had a mistake, I'm gonna fine you. You know, he's not. He's super nice guy. And it's just let's play music and enjoy it. Mm-hmm. So every night was just fun. I didn't feel that I have to play the parts as is, otherwise something bad is gonna happen. I felt like I wanna play the parts because that's what fits the best, basically. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, in my band we call them clams when you mess
clams?
up. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We just, if you want to catch a whale, you gotta go hunt for some clams.
I thought maybe because you're gonna eat like a bad clam, so maybe that's why.
We should. However many mess ups, that's how many clams you have to, rotten clams after the show.
Oh no, that's harsh.
Well, then I would have boatloads of clams every night.
Oh no. I mean, we all have mistakes, man. It's mistake is like a. I know you already know that, but a mistake is like it's a decision.
Yeah.
Basically, that's what it is. I mean, there's no mistakes. It's just something that humans made up. I mean, you want to do something and then something else happens. That's the mistake. That's it. That's what it is. But if you just go with this something else and go with the flow and decide it's not a mistake, that's what it is, and I'm going to embrace it. It's not a mistake. I mean, that's what it is.
Yeah. Usually it's like a bass drum pattern. And I'll just repeat it the next 2 bars. It's like, oh, that's the new bass drum part. So
yeah, exactly. That's awesome.
Yeah. So speaking of you dropping out of the band, so you also, and I don't want to empty your closet here, but you also dropped out of high school and music academy, which obviously it's not out of laziness. And you obviously have accomplished so much. So what kind of learner do you consider yourself?
Very self-centered.
No,
I don't know. That's what I mean. I know it's weird, but because if it's not enjoyable for me, and if I'm not having a lot of fun working on the stuff that I'm working on, I'm never gonna work on it. So that's basically the problem I have. I mean, it's a problem, but it's not a problem. It's so if like at school, if they give me like a like even in music, they say, okay, let's learn this sheet of music, and I'm like, okay, this it's not interesting, and I don't feel like I'm playing music, so I'm not gonna ever gonna learn this sheet of music. Or shitty music. No, I'm just kidding.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say that, but I don't want to, poke at your accent. But yeah, it sounded like you said, "Here's
Of
a
course, of
shitty
course.
music."
Yeah. I noticed. I mean, it's funny to have an accent because you notice your accent, but I can't do anything about it. So basically, I'm just hearing myself with the accent. So that's
I
what
like
it is.
it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
How would you describe your work ethic?
Again, like if I want to do the production and if it's fun for me, I'm gonna do it. Um, Usually I'm very bad at doing things just for money or just because I need to do them. Uh, and again, it's a problem. It's another problem. I mean, it's all together.
Hmm.
Because I'm not like letting myself to do stuff I don't want. I'm getting the stuff I want, so that's good. The bad thing about it is sometimes it's like a lot of times it's very hard financially, emotionally, like so it's hard to be a musician and to stand on your own and to say no, I'm not gonna do this gig, I'm gonna play this sort of things, I don't know, so it's hard. Um, but I feel like I don't have a choice, to be honest, because I just I mean if you're gonna tell me to play something I don't want to play, to my ears, maybe you're not gonna hear it, but to my ears it sounds like I'm a beginner drummer, just like I don't know how to play even. It's like
Mhm.
it's crazy. So I have to express myself and to feel like I'm playing um, phrases and melodies. It has to come from within, like a phrase that I want to say. And if it's not a phrase and it's just a lick or it's just a chop or I don't know, a phrase that I'm forced to play that I feel like it's not right, I'm not gonna play it good. I'm gonna play it very bad. So and then I hate myself. So that's why that's why I don't do those kind of things. Yeah.
Has it always been like that, or is there a certain gig that you're like, I'm not doing this anymore? Like you don't have to name names, but was it an actual gig, or because you've been playing since you were 3? I mean, you've been doing this a long time.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you read about me. Nice.
So, yeah. I stalked
Okay.
you, man. Yeah, you got to do
Yeah,
it.
it's good. Yeah, it was always like that, and I had to learn it on my flash because I was trying basically to play in productions and stuff that I don't like. I'm not gonna say any names or something,
Mhm.
but it happened a lot, and then I felt like okay, it's not good for me, and I feel like I don't agree with the musical arrangements or whatever. So much so that I can't be on this gig anymore. Uh, Nothing personal
Mhm.
against the people. Just it's like a lid in a pot. You have to it has to match. So when it's not matching, it's a problem to me.
Yeah. That's what I think a lot of drummers that are trying to start off have to grapple with, is that they want to be the quote unquote artist, but they also have to say yes to those gigs they don't want to do, play those parts they don't want to play. And in order to get to the place where they can say no to those gigs, they have to have the experience and the network to know people that will allow them to be who they are. It's a tough balance. But that's awesome that you've gotten to the point where you can have conviction and be like, I'm not doing that, and you're kind of known for that, which is rad.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, I'm still having a lot of troubles with it, to be honest, because it's always hard. It's not like it was hard at the beginning. It was like
Mhm.
it's just always hard.
Yeah.
It's there are always gigs out there that I can actually do and make money, but I don't want. So it's like everyday a struggle, to be honest. But
Yeah.
yeah, but it's easy. It's easier for me because I feel like I really don't have any choice because when I play those things, I really play them very bad. I mean, I'm not even joking.
Mm.
I mean, like a beginner drummer. So that's that's how I feel. I'm very like, you know.
So
Yeah.
I think we can just move into the Instagram questions, and then we'll
Okay,
get into
yeah.
your top 5. Yeah. So
Sure.
the first question was from Matt in class, and I think it kind of already worked itself out, but her question was 5 shock face emojis with 4 fire emojis, and then you already responded with a fist bump and your own fire emoji. So I
Yeah.
believe that question was answered online.
That's the millennial
Yeah.
communication, you know, just like
It was
emojis.
beautiful.
Yeah.
It's really
Thank
natural.
you.
And so Jacob Friedman, which is Jacob F Music on Instagram, he was wondering if Dan has any drum exercise or a specific method that's helped him build his coordination and independence.
Yes, I have, and it's a weird answer.
Good.
I'm trying. Good, you're already laughing. Oh man. Okay. My answer is just the thing I'm trying to do is to look at the thing I'm trying to play as one thing. So, like for example, when you drive your car, you're not like thinking, okay, I need to brake now, so I'm gonna press the brake pedal, and then I'm gonna do this other thing, and then I'm gonna do like 2,000 things all at once. You just brake the car. It's one thing.
Mm-hmm.
So with drums, when you have like a lot of different phrases all at once, I'm trying to get like to step back and hear the main phrase that it creates, basically, with polyrhythms, with polyrhythmics, and with everything, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm trying to just to mimic the phrase I hear, the main phrase, without thinking about the left hand doing something else while the right hand doing something else. I mean, it's very confusing. Like to me, I mean, it feels only natural to think about it as just one phrase.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I'm not succeeding because it's not working all the time, I'm just slowing the whole phrase like very, very much, and then trying to play note by note the phrase, but as a one phrase, not just working on like left hand and then working on right hand and then playing it together. That's, for me, that's never worked. Even in shows, when I play shows, every time that I'm trying to, like, I'm thinking in my head, okay, it's your solo, do this thing with your hand and then do with your left foot this other thing, it always goes like crap. And when I just focus on playing phrases, just one phrase, let's play this phrase, and then I play this phrase, and it's awesome. I'm focusing on playing phrases, and my body follows, and that's it.
Yeah, I think I've exhausted this on the podcast talking about NAMM and, you know, how many people come up to our booth, which is, weirdly enough, we usually use an A&F drum at the Big Fat Snare Drum booth.
I know. I think I went by your booth like
Mm-hmm.
a few years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. He's so good about letting us use his stuff, but it's so, like, these days, I wish people would think of drums and kind of zoom out, kind of like how you're talking, because a lot of people focus on a specific lick or a specific hand technique, and so they'll sit down on a drum set and they'll play this 15-second phrase that, you know, they've worked on in their basement for the last 6 months, and then they'll go to a groove and it just falls apart. And it's like people are just can't see the forest for the trees when it comes to drums now, because they have this ability to see all this specific lesson on this specific thing, and then they don't know how to glue it all together just to be a nice, well-rounded drummer. And I include myself in that. I mean, I definitely, you know, there's drum candy that I'll go down, and then what I should be working on is just, not left-hand technique, but do a groove and then try and bring a left-hand thing in there, but make it this unified front, as opposed to just like, my left hand is my thing I'm working on for the next 6 months, if that makes sense, you know?
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's hard to think about it. Like, I mean, with today's social media, you have like Instagram, and you see like a crazy drummer doing like crazy shit, and it's super easy to just get out of focus.
Mm-hmm.
But funny focus. I have like a very strong accent when I say focus. Amazing. Okay, you know, I
Wow, I have to
noticed.
bleep that out.
Oh shit. Okay. basically, every time I'm trying to like working on only phrases and telling a story. For example, I'm gonna just for example say I never play ghost notes, and a lot of people are gonna say, wait a second, you play a lot of ghost notes, but I'm not referring these notes as ghost notes. For me, it's just a phrase like talking, and you have inside the phrase some notes that are quieter. That's that's the phrase. It's not a main phrase with few more phrases underneath. It's confusing. It's a lot of information. I just have like one phrase, and I'm trying to tell a story with those phrases. So if I'm like and I'm gonna answer the dynamics is basically my tool. I can it's just the same phrase just with dynamics, and I'm just saying phrases. And when I'm practicing, for me it's just a free solo. I'm gonna, for example, take only the kick, snare, and hats. I'm gonna play. It can be groovy, but I'm gonna play just a phrase between the kick, snare, and hats, and then I'm gonna answer this phrase, and then I'm gonna answer this answer, and so on and so on. And without thinking about ghost notes, without thinking about licks, and when I do that, not only I find a lot of new phrases, I can really focus on. Now I said focus right. I can really focus on almost. Thank you. I can really focus on playing music, and then the music takes my body to new places, and I'm gonna add. Sorry that I'm talking a lot, but I'm gonna add a little bit more to that. Sounds, to me, it's technique. So when you play sounds right, you're gonna play the technique right. For example, Mahler system, for me, it's a sound. It's not a technique. It's ta-tu, ta-tu, or ta-tu, ta-tu, ta. If you're gonna play this sound, those dynamics, your hands has to play Mahler system. If not, you're not gonna have this sound. So instead of watching your hands trying to play this Mahler system, I'm just trying to listen. Let's play. I'm never like watching my hands when I'm playing. Just trying to hear and listen to the sounds, and then when I play freely like this and trying to play phrases and tell a story, I'm working on my technique, my sounds, like everything basically, phrases, all at once, just from 5 minutes story telling through the drum kit.
Yeah. How cognizant of technique are you when you're playing? I mean, I know you're listening and going for the sounds, but do you ever, or have you ever done any education research, like how do I hold, like what's the proper way to hold a stick, and then you can be like, you can decipher if you want to do that or not?
Never. Okay. And I hate basically every time I'm trying to work on my technique, I'm like I get pissed off. Like,
yeah,
that's shit. I'm not even good. I'm just like, I'm so slow. Like everyone, I guess, but just that's why, and it's a negative thinking, and negative thinking never gets me a progress. So only positive thinking. I mean, maybe for some people, some people love the rough exercise method, but for me it never worked. I need like to feel that I'm worth something, that I'm telling a story, that I can tell a story, that I'm focusing on music. And then my body follows, and if not, it's gonna happen the next day. And like, for example, I never played the drum pad. I mean, I hate it. It's not music. You can play musically on the drum pad, that's for sure, but it's not like a drum set. So I just played drum set as much as I can. For example, you don't see guitar player or saxophone players practicing not on their instrument. That's weird. Drummers are the only people that just take like a rubber thing instead of playing on the drum set. So I just try to play as much as I can on the drum set.
That's a great point.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, because I grapple with this a lot because I do have literally a pad right next to me that if I'm like editing a video, I'll just kind of work on stuff.
perfect. Yeah,
But
it's not a bad thing, by the way. I'm not. Don't get me wrong. I'm not
yeah.
going against drum pads or something. Yeah.
No, and I didn't think you mean it. You meant it in a bad way, but you make a good point because it's like if you have a hi-hat that's maybe this height. From what I've seen, you and me kind of have the same height of a hi-hat. The hi-hat's here, your snare's here. You have your awesome little 6-inch snare kind of to the right, but when you're on a pad, your hand is at a certain angle, and so if you're really used to doing all these things when your hands are at this like relaxed, 90-degree angle with your elbow, but then if you're like, okay, I can do all these things, but then you want to do that same thing on the hi-hat with the left hand up here, it's like that's a whole different body movement with your wrists. So if you get used to being only good on the pad, when you can't really translate that to the drum set because then your arms are moving in all these weird ways. So it's not a direct correlation. If you're great on the pad, you're going to be great in the drum set.
Mm-hmm. That's, by the way, the thing that I talked about with sounds and techniques, because when you play on the drum set, you've got to change your technique according to the instrument you play on, because our instrument is not one. It's a lot of weird stuff that we put together, basically.
Mm-hmm.
It's a floor tom. It's very heavy. It's not. You don't have rebound. Hi-hat is like you have a lot of rebound from the hi-hat, and so on and so on.
Mm-hmm.
So when you play drum set, you get used to the idea that you're making sounds, and then your body get used to basically. I call it sound mapping, basically, because you map the sound. Your body knows how to change fast between floor tom and snare drum and side stick or whatever.
Sure.
So that's why.
Yeah.
You already got it, yeah.
All right. So I want to play a video before we go to this next question because it kind of pertains to.
Okay,
I'm
not gonna talk so much. Sorry.
No,
yeah,
dude,
I'm just
I love it.
I answered like 30 minutes on one question, so yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I just asked you how you're doing. All right, so let's just play a few minutes of this little guy.
I don't know if you noticed, I messed up like towards the end.
Oh, really?
Okay. Yeah. On the no drum, on the drum machine, I had like my sticks went like yeah, that's I hope no one noticed.
I guess it is. Well, now they do. So you screwed yourself. All right. So this is from Flo Denny Productions. And this is kind of a two-part. So how did he arrive at the pedal board setup that he now has, and how long did it take to develop? And then can you describe how he's getting the audio in? Like he was wondering if it's just one mic put through the audio in, or if it's multiple mics combined. And he also put 5 fire emojis. So obviously he's more excited than Matt in class, but we'll just leave it there.
Okay. Nice. Both like great questions, especially with the fire emojis. I mean, how can you ignore that? That's for sure.
Oh my God.
Exactly. So it's basically, it was actually a long journey. It started with me buying this Erica Synth Fusion box. It was in Paris with Mike. I just heard this. It's basically a delay with overdrive, and it's very barbaric with the tube inside. It's very, very barbaric.
Sounds rad.
And yeah, and I bought it, and it started to pass like electronic stuff through it, just like from my iPad, like drum loops and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started to pass like my own loops and drums, but through Ableton and just in post edit, not like live. And then I noticed, wait a second, I need to hear what I'm doing in order to play with it. So I started to play with it. At first I was like playing just with one mic on the drum set, and then I was like routing this mic to exit 2 on my audio interface, and then this exit 2 went into input 2, and then and then that's how it went.
Mm-hmm.
And then I talked with Ophir I said, man, I had like a crazy session with this effect. I feel like I'm onto something. I was like super lit. I felt like I'm gonna jump through the roof or something. Because with this effect, basically, it's a long feedback. So every time I'm not playing, it's shouting at me like, "Wah," and it's so fun
Play me
to improvise. Yeah, exactly. With this amount of stress, it's like if you're not gonna play something, I'm gonna shout. It's you've got to try it. I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So, and then he said, "Yeah, I mean, you need a pedal board." And and then said, "Oh man, he's right." And then I started to search from more pedals, and I found out about the guy here in Israel. His name is Deftone. He built me like a crazy fuzz, very barbaric fuzz. It's more like a synth fuzz. Every time I'm playing like a note, it's basically playing a synth. It's crazy, a synth note. And then I bought also a distortion from him. It's more like a rat distortion, like a clone. And then I talked with Mono about it, that I'm building a pedal board, and they were like really kind enough to send me their pedal board with two pedals from Tysco. Basically, they're under the same umbrella. So I got two more effects, like a fuzz and a great analog delay. And that's the pedal board. And then I decided, okay, now I need like a looper. So I bought like the Blooper. I don't know if you heard about Blooper.
No.
It's from, I forgot the name of the company, but I'm sure a lot of people know about this effect. It's a multi looper kind of thing. It can be also a delay. And then I did something very barbaric, but it works. I just bought like a tiny mixer, and I just plugged one kit mic. It's basically I put it above the bass drum, and one more mic, like a Russian mic, this mic.
Nice.
Towards one of the bells. And then in the mixer I can choose if I wanna turn both mics up or maybe just one. I just play with it. Oh, by the way, I have also few effects from Matoverse, if that's how you say their name.
Okay.
It's not a sponsorship or something, but just they have like amazing effects. So I'm I like them a lot. That's for sure. Yeah. And yeah, so basically through the mixer. At first I was playing like the kit mic was just also like the Russian mic, but the Erica synth, if I want to choke the effect, because I like it when I get like when I play kick drum, the whole effect is like ducking. So for that effect, I need to get in a lot of subs into this effect. So now I'm using in this video I'm using a ribbon mic. So you get a lot of low end for the kit mic, and every time I'm playing a kick, the whole effect is like ducking from all the subs. And then it's all parallel. So I'm basically recording myself with 3 mics regularly, and then you have like one more channel, and it's basically the pedal board with the mixer and stuff.
How long did that journey take to go from just having that Erica synth to now?
2 years.
2 years?
Yeah, the whole pedal board idea came to life like in I think 2 months, maybe 1 month, something around that. But the whole process from the Erica synth was like 2 years. That's for sure.
Great. Well, I hope that helped Flow Denny Productions.
Yeah.
But all right. So the last one before we go into your choices for the Big Fat Five is going to be, and it's Biha Musei. I cannot pronounce his Instagram handle, but it's Toby Bruce, and I actually used this with Ash Sohn, but I think it's a good tie-in to us talking about your influences. So. Real quick, how does he, one, go about using his influences without simply imitating or stealing?
That's a hard question. And
Yeah.
my hard answer is I'm not thinking about it. Because we all we all listening to a lot of music, and we all imitate on some level. So for me, I just feel okay with if I feel like a sometimes when I play, I can take the idea of a different drummer, but I'm not gonna play his phrases. So, like I've said before, I'm not like really practicing, and I'm never like tried to play other people's licks and stuff. So I just listen to a lot of music and then I play.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like for example, if it's like a very jazzy kind of tune, maybe I'm gonna feel a little bit like Brian Blade. That's okay. I'm not gonna play like Brian Blade because no one can, but I'm gonna just I'm gonna feel the same vibe like the way I know him through my ears, through my eyes, and so on and so on. So basically, that's what I'm trying to do, and I'm never thinking about it too much, because we all take something from someone all the time. It's okay if it's in inspiration, but so basically my tip will be maybe instead of trying, I don't know if that's what he does. I don't want to say stuff that he don't do anyway, but maybe instead of trying to play other people's licks, just listen and absorb a lot of music, and then go to play something like freely. And that's okay if it's gonna sound a little bit like the same or maybe a little bit different, because every person is gonna bring their own fingerprint inside this material. I don't know if it's like someone else's or not. So it's gonna happen because we are all different. For example, like I see it a lot in my students. I have like a few students, and every student of mine experience me as a different way. Some people think that I'm very like tight and funky drummer, and they think they sound like me when they play like this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, but I'm really like avant-garde, and my style's like actually very avant-garde and free. And some of the students see me as that, but then I also have the funky thing. So it's we are all a lot of things basically. So everyone sees something they like, they can see in their self basically, and then they're trying just to improve that. So don't worry about that. Just play drums and be happy and enjoy every moment.
And scene. No, that's
Yeah.
well.
Exactly.
That's why I wanted to have you on, talking about a person who sees you and wants to be a student of yours from afar, and just to kind of look at what you do and try and play like you. That's why I want them to listen to an episode like this, because it's like, don't just watch Dan, listen to these things that Dan listened to, and then you can then channel that through your own thing and maybe sound similar to Dan, but use your previous influences and these ones to make your own thing. So it all,
and
it all marries
everyone
together.
like definitely, and everyone grew up on a different music as well. So that's also because I live in Israel, so I grew up on a lot of like weird music that maybe not maybe like an American person or a Brazilian person never heard of. So and vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
So we all have like different roots, and so it's gonna sound like very different. And yeah, just enjoy.
Well, I will echo that because I do not know most of your picks. So I'm really
Okay.
excited. Yeah, which is great.
Nice.
The first one, so you actually did it in a cool way. So when I approach guests, because sometimes they're like, well, I don't know 5 choices. I don't, it seems like a very daunting task. And so I give a few suggestions of maybe this or this. You don't have to use any of these, but like, this is the vibe. And you kind of went through those and did an answer for each one of those, which was great. So the first one you responded to, which is one of my first kind of suggestions, was possibly a specific groove that completely changed the way you think about the drums. And so you chose The Joker by Karim Zied, and the album is Afrikia, which is from 2001. And before I play it, what's kind of the backstory on Karim? Because he's the drummer and writes the songs, it looks like, because it's his solo record.
Yeah, he's crazy guy, an amazing artist.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up on his music basically because when I was 15, one of my teachers, his name was Ben Danzig. That's his name, very Israeli name. And he said I was sick, very sick, and I didn't show up at rehearsal, and he said like, man, you've got to listen to these guys, it's gonna cure you up. And I was like, oh man, this is crazy. And then I started to listen to his music endlessly, basically. Yeah, he's just crazy, amazing musician, lives in France, I think. It's Moroccan music. A lot of Israeli musicians here knows him. Yeah, I mean,
What specifically about the Joker? Was that, did you just kind of arbitrarily choose a song of his that you enjoy, or was this song specifically a groove that really made you think twice?
Yeah, I mean, this groove, at first I didn't know where's the one, to be honest. And then I noticed, okay, he's not playing the one with the kick drum. And in Moroccan music, it happens a lot. When it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then when we play it on the drum set, it gets very confusing. That's the first time I noticed, okay, I can play the kick drum not on the one, and I can play a whole groove that the lead is the snare on the one. It's at first it was like weird for me, and then I noticed, okay, I can go like extreme with it, and I can actually improvise in triplets with the kick, snare, and hats without ever having to play the one at all. And then I felt so free on the drums that I like discovered a new port of like a new world, basically. That I started just to play really free, and felt like my internal clock is very strong or getting strong through this method or groove.
Yeah.
And it's very common in Morocco, this groove. So it's like
great. Well, let's just play The Joker by Kareem. Yeah, it's like sometimes I'm like, where's the one? And then I'm like, who cares? Just listen, Ben. Just chill.
Yeah.
It's okay, you know.
Yeah. First of all, definitely.
Yeah.
And but you're gonna get it. I mean, once you get it, you can go back. That's amazing about it. So basically, it's just 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 1. Just silent one. A lot of times we used to hear the kick drum as one, as the most heaviest beat on the bar, and he does it like on the end of the 3. What? I was like,
yeah. All right, so you actually have two choices for my next suggestion, which was your favorite fill or choice or moment from a certain record. And so your first one was Razzie Beat by Eamon Tobin.
Eamon Tobin.
Eamon Tobin. God, there you go.
Yeah,
from the album Fight, Fight, Fight. And there's exclamation points, so pretend that I just screamed those. But it's from 2020, and I'm going to start it at about 45 seconds. I love that people are going to be listening to this podcast and roll up to a parking lot. The friend's like, what are you listening to? It's like, oh, a podcast. It's just like so much bass. It's just
yeah. That's insane. Definitely like a very different reference or a choice from Kareem Ziad. Yeah. Actually, I listened to this album a lot recently. Tammuz Dekel from TATRAN sent it to me like a few months ago, and I fell in love with this album.
Mm-hmm.
Eamon Tobin, he does like a lot of he goes way back from the 90s, I think, and he does like a lot of ambient sounds. He creates just soundscapes, but he does it in such a way it sounds like a composition. It doesn't sound just like random sounds. It's really a composition, beautiful composition. And he also has like a side project called Two Fingers, and that's the more like I can say beat kind of more groovy stuff of his. And this album is from Two Fingers, and this track is so pumping, and every time I'm listening to this track, it's like, oh my god, and it resonates a lot with the stuff I do with the effects recently. So I feel like a lot of the sounds I'm looking for, it's basically I can hear them in this album, or the references from the sounds I'm looking for. It's very electronic, but the groove is so alive. If you ask me, it's not like a like a very straight ahead. It's very, you have like a great swing to it. It feels natural. Just beautiful song. So
yeah, whatever he's using as like the frequency of the hi-hat sound is really cool and really syncopated and kind of plays with that bass drum quite a bit.
Exactly.
Which is what you do when you're playing a lot. So he probably copied you. Gotta sue him.
Oh man.
But I can see that bass drum sound too in the Woodhouse sessions. You like that kind of really tonal big bass drum sound, which again A&F drums sound so good.
Exactly. I mean, recently, I'm not using any holes or port holes on my kick drum at all. I just replaced all the heads for no holes, because I want to get all the tone, and there's so many low end and subs on these drums. It's fucking crazy, and I just put rebound mic like a little bit towards the kick drum, and you get so many subs, and it's crazy. So many low end, and I'm just going for this kind of vibe, just to have a lot of low end and subs on my kick drum, because it's just drums, so I don't need to EQ stuff and to go like to kill the drums. There's no other instruments.
Yeah.
So I just go nuts with all the frequencies, and it's so fun.
This is a geeky drummer question, but do you bury the beater, or do you hit it and let it kind of resonate?
So before when I was playing with holes, I was burying the kick. I was playing with it, but I never noticed exactly what I'm doing. And now when I'm playing without holes, you have to notice. You can bury the kick, the beater, but it's changing the sound.
Yeah.
So you get two sounds basically, and it's so fun to play with it. For me, it's just amazing. So that's what I do. But it's not. I mean, if you ask me, it's not a bad thing to bury the beater. It's just two sounds. It's great if you have them both, if you can play with it. But everyone can play however they found it comfortable for them. I learned how to play like without burying the beater through my jazz period of playing, because I had like few years when I play jazz very quiet, so I had to put my heel down, and then I learned how to play with my heel down, and then it started to be like heel down, heel up kind of thing. But like I've said, with sounds and technique, just take a bass drum without a hole and start to play with it, and you're gonna get it. Your foot is gonna get it. Your body's gonna learn, and if you're gonna listen to it, it's gonna happen.
Sure.
And
All right, so this is also in the category of a favorite fail, choice, or moment, and it was from Sandia by, again, we've talked about him before, but Karim Zayed, from the same album, Ifriqiya. But I'm going to start, and we didn't talk about specifically where in this song, but I took a little liberty and maybe assumed you meant towards the end when the rhythm kind of starts to get a little different, or is it just the overall vibe?
It's the whole song, but every part of this song for me, it's amazing. So play whatever you feel like.
Well, this part's cool, and it's something that I'm going to pull from too. Is the shaker, and again, it's probably, this is my Western brain. It's like a shaker with claps on a shaker's playing like 16th notes, and the claps are on like the upbeat chicka 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 kind of thing, and then towards the end of the song, the shaker, or the kind of more syncopated sound becomes triplets, and then the claps become on like the third triplet, so it goes
Yeah.
It's just because they changed the rhythm. But I actually don't think within the tempo the claps change in this part. It's just the dancing around it, which is really cool. So I didn't mean to take away your choice from you, but it's a cool song.
Of course not.
That little transition there is really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it's basically the shaker you talked about is I forgot the name. Sorry if I'm ignorant, but it's a metal sheets. It's actually a choir of people that holding in each hand like a metal like sheets with little dimps in them, and they clap it together.
Oh, cool.
And then you get taka 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 taka, like it's really loud. In the recording it sounds like pleasant, but it's really loud. And you have like the claps and the shouts as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's very earthy, and when I hear the song, I feel like it's something like it feels like I'm listening to the truth. It feels like a truth. I don't know how to describe it more.
No, it's beautiful, man. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, it feels just so honest, and that's what music is about. Just to play like a lot of people like resonate in the same frequency together, really strong, and you can feel it in this song. And that's what music is about. So I felt like when I heard it, I felt like I'm connecting to music, to people, to this. So yeah.
Great. All right. Well, let's go to number 3, or sorry, this would actually be number 4. And my suggestion was a performance which you either played or witnessed that altered your musical course. And you said a performance I had when I was 17 years old as part of a young gifted music camp.
Yeah. Actually, it's a little bit a sad story.
Oh no!
When I was when I was in music academy, I was 16 years old because I dropped from school, and I felt like really depressed, and it was very school kind of thing. So I felt like I'm forced to play in a certain way. Every time they told me to play quiet and certain phrases that I didn't like, and I felt like I'm pretty depressed, to be honest. And every time I booked like a room to practice, I didn't play drums. I played the piano a little bit, and then that's it. I was depressed. I felt like I don't want to play drums anymore. And then when I got in this music camp, it was with a saxophone player named Eli the Jibri. He's like a jazz saxophone player from New York. He's in Israel. He's Israeli, but he lives in New York now. He's in Israel. And actually, I was there with Ophir from TATRAN. We know like way back. And Eli was, every time I played something without noticing, like a phrase that was natural to me, he was like, "Yeah, that's amazing. Do that." And I felt like finally someone loves my own phrases and loves actually me. And I felt like, okay, now I want to play drums again. It felt so good. And then at the show, he said something so beautiful, because we had a sound check, and I played loud, and I said, wait a second, is that because it's a jazz band? And I said, is that too loud for like in this venue? Should I play quieter? Because at the music academy they told me to play quieter all the time. And he said, it's loud when you want it to be loud. That's his answer was. It was like perfect. Wow, that's amazing answer, because I control it. If I want it to be loud, if I want to be loud in this piece of music, that's a choice. It's an artistic choice. And then I felt like it's not uh, I don't have to force myself to play like something. I felt like I have power. I have like a power that I can control, and I can be loud if I want. And this attitude and way of thinking changed actually the way I think about playing with people or drums or music.
How did you get into this young gifted music camp in general?
I had an audition
Okay.
that I always almost bailed as usual. and like the last minute, my father said, no, let's take you to this audition, do this. And immediately he loves me in the audition, and I felt like, okay, that's weird. And I mean, as a kid, I was 17, I think, so it felt so good that someone like really loves you and is like a professional musician and loves me for playing my own phrases, for playing from bringing myself to the table. That's how I felt. And he gave me so much respect, like I can, and so much responsibility. I mean, the volume, it's all about me, the phrases, it's all about me, and I need to bring something to the table. I need to bring me, not just a phrase. I need to communicate with other people. It was beautiful. So yeah.
Speaking of sounds and bringing you to the table, when you finally got ANF drums, how much was your sound that you heard in your head elevated when you finally got in front of the instrument? You're like, oh, this is finally it.
It was like so different. I mean, ANF drums goes so deeply, and they have so much frequencies that it's almost like a different instrument, and you need to learn how to. I mean, you can play it regularly on the drums, and it's gonna be perfect. But then there's a lot more in there, and it took me like 2 years to get adapted to the ANF system, if you will, to feel free to actually control and know the drums and know what the drums can offer me. And it's so many, not only the weird sizes drums, also in each drum you have so much tone and like ring, like overtones, and depth. It's crazy journey, that's for sure. And actually I had like a great talk with Rami from ANF a few weeks ago, and he told me like, I mean, I told him like, yeah, I feel like it changed me, and he said it's not like changing you, because I feel everyone like it was in you this whole time, but you got an instrument that is very good, and now you can finally get those things out, and it can bring more things out that was already inside, and you didn't know, and you needed like a new sound or new drum to get it out. And I felt like, yeah, it makes a lot of sense, because other musicians like that plays ANF drums play very different, and they have like, for example, Piero, he's an Italian drummer. He's amazing. He's so different than me. He's very lyrical and musical, and his note on the drums like so different than mine, and because these drums just amplified the stuff that already are like in being inside of him. So basically that's what it is. And also Brody Simpson is like a crazy dude.
Yeah.
A good friend of mine, and he's, we are also very different. So I feel like in a way it's not changing people, it's just bringing stuff out that needs to be out, or maybe you can discover new stuff that was already inside of you. If it makes sense.
No, perfect sense.
Yeah.
For the sake of time, unfortunately, let's just keep moving on. But I could talk about ANF all day. Again,
Okay.
I think a big reason why our booth sounds so good at NAMM is because we're using his drums. But all right, so this is, I'm really excited to go down a rabbit hole with this drummer. This is your favorite drummer at the moment and how their overall body of work affected you. And it's Christian Lillinger.
Yes.
All
said it
right.
right. Yeah.
So let's
He's
just...
German.
He's German and he's amazing.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's just play a song. It's Configuration 2, and it's from the album Beats. Where he's putting the accents on those hi-hats is so rad.
Yeah. What a cool phrase. Actually, so I got the chance to know him through Mind of Symbols, because he's an artist.
Mm-hmm.
I think Norbert from Mind of Symbols told me about him, and then I saw a video and I was like, okay, this guy is crazy, and I mean, at first, of course, he does like a lot of crazy stuff and polyrhythmics and whatever, but the thing that I like the most about Christian is his approach in musicality and the connection with other musicians. So committed to the moment, and I feel like they're composing music in real time. That's for me, that's the most the highest form of music.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, also when you see his body work, he's playing with his heart, and his whole body is in it. I mean, he's all about motions and sounds for me. So when I saw body, I just had to when I saw body in the question, this name immediately just pops to my mind. So yeah.
Sound wise, do you pull from him, or I mean, how long have you actually known about him?
A year or so.
Okay.
We are very different,
Mm-hmm.
because I usually play with heavy sticks, very like full like sound, or resonating drums or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed plays with a lot of like different, like small sticks,
Mm-hmm.
almost like skewers, and then he gets like a lot of tiny sounds from the snares, like the snares sound almost choked. It's because the sticks are so narrow. That's what I think, and he's all about like he's like in a more, he plays a lot more quiet than me, that's for sure. And I tried to you know to play a session and to imagine just to play like the same atmosphere as he's playing, but it's not. I'm not even bothering of like trying, because it's impossible. It's really his own approach to drums. But I do take, like, I do love avant-garde and free music a lot. So and lately I felt like I drawn apart from avant-garde, and lately I'm playing more beats and stuff. And then when I heard him, I was like, okay, yeah, that's what I like about avant-garde, because it's very easy with avant-garde to be just another genre. It happens, with every genre. So I felt like a lot of people playing avant-garde just to play a genre. Mm-hmm. We are playing avant-garde right now, and it's not. I don't like it. But when he playing, it sounds like he playing something honest, and he's communicating, and they're playing music, like real music. So I felt like they're talking, and it's amazing.
So he gets small snare sounds out of his sticks, and you actually just have a small snare.
And big sticks, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like you guys complete each other. This is great.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
All right, that's the end of part 1 with Dan Mayo. I'll be uploading a shorter part 2 tomorrow, so stay tuned for that, and have a good damn day. Bye.